everyone, and welcome to another installment of TED Excellence, the show in which I apparently toss aside all of my sense of taste because of the crowd wanting me to do a thing. I've given in to peer pressure. And I come to you live from my Corona bunker on the moon with Dogcat Fox, a Pepperjack, and all of you, and unfortunately, potentially, terrible roboting, because according to StreamYard, my signal strength is low or non-existent, depending on how it is. So I guess the first question of the hour is, can you guys hear me? Because boy, wouldn't it just be funny if after last week with my computer going nuts and stalling me from doing this episode, I got stalled again by internet issues. So I will wait a moment until you guys tell me if I'm roboting. I can hear you. Yes. Hey, Mr. Yes. I can't tell what that means. Yes, you can hear me. Am I roboting? That's the problem. I mean, maybe you can hear me. You sound fine. Okay. All right. Well, I'll take it as it is then. Sorry, guys, for that at the beginning, but I get paranoid about these things. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well on this Thursday night. Yes, back once again after last week having computer issues with my CPU, which are fortunately, presumably solved now. And so I can bring you possibly the second most requested TEDx talk that I've ever had come my way. So a bit of backstory. About now 2 weeks ago or so, this TED talk dropped. And I mean, oftentimes I'll have people either on Twitter or otherwise sort of send me links and say, hey, here's a TED talk you should look at, or here's a TEDx talk you should look at. And, I appreciate the tips and things. But usually it's just like a one-off, that kind of thing. I had so many people online and offline asking me, are you going to do the Lizzo one? Are you going to do the Lizzo talk? I was like, what is going on? I had kind of planned on looking at it maybe, but I was like, I don't know if I want. But everybody's like, Lizzo, Lizzo, Lizzo. I'm like, oh my God. So, and I've said this a couple other places, second only to the TED or TEDx talk where the lady is giving a presentation about forgiveness with her rapist, I think is the most requested TED talk I've ever had thus far. I'm not going to do that one. That's not something I could make entertaining. But after a poll where I asked, would you want me to do Lizzo? Oh boy, everybody was like, yeah. So here we are. Here we are. But before I get into tonight's festivities, who's joining me for this adventure into butt wiggling? Point Curation, hello. Subpar Genitalia, hello. Hell Triangle. Let me get this here before it disappears off the screen, because that would be a shame. Hell Triangle, thank you so much. This is to buy you a drink after you watch this insanity. I just might need it. Just might need it. Thank you, Hell Triangle. Hey, Jen T. Maxi, hello. Keeverdam, hello. Jamie Melquist, hello. Let's see who else is here because chat just jumped. Art210, hello. Luke Skywalker 2, hello. And then this is Kyle. Thank you so much. Hello, chat people and scribbles. Hello, Kyle. Who else is here? Shortline 614, hello. Funtime Bats, hello. Nathaniel Taylor, hello. Attack Alpaca, hello. Check Your Logic, hello. Bridget, hello. Who else? Swirl Blue, hello. Chicago Mike, hello. Toku 54, hello. Zalbla, hello. Hope that GoFundMe's doing good. Hey, post the link to that in the chat when you have a chance. Jonathan Peterson, hello. Resolute Germ, hello. Mr. Yes, hello. Who else is here? Anybody else? Have I missed anybody? The Pissed Off Shih Tzu, hello. Megan Ring, hello. The Gayest Person on YouTube, hello. Gulf City Johnny Blaze, hello. Lexi Mads is here. Now we can begin. Decode, hello. And It's a Llama, hello. Frosted Glass, hello. Big Dave, 1066, hello. Nick Reto. Hi, M. Steve, hello. Tony Giff, hello. I want to make sure I get everybody in here. Anthrax Allen, hello. Flare Fritz, hello. 12 Fuzzy Rats, hello. I think that's everyone. If I have missed you, I apologize, but there are so many of you. It is a wonderful pride to have. But with all that being said, let's get right into it. So first and foremost, the bingo card tonight is bingo card C. C as in cat. So get your bingo card. Link is in the description. Another editor's note. Before I watched, well, I haven't watched this yet, but before I started working on this, I suspected that at some point in the course of this video, Lizzo would play her own music. And consequently, I knew I was probably going to have to mute or silence portions of this video to avoid any kind of copyright strike. And lo and behold, as I clicked through, just for image's sake to find a point at which I thought music might be playing, music was playing. So at a certain point near the end of the presentation, the sound will cut out. That is by design. We will just have to witness what is going on as the music is purportedly playing in silence, more or less. If you would like to see the full and untampered with presentation, links in the description. So with all that out of the way, I'll start off with a few seconds for sound test, even though the first part is silence because the opening intro music is cut out. But as soon as I start hearing something, I'll check to see if you guys are hearing something. This clocks in just under 14 minutes, and let's begin. Ooh, it's so creepy quiet. TED. This is a TED Talk, guys, not a TEDx. This is where TED is now.
Oh my God.
This talk contains mature language. Oh boy, that gives me license to talk all dirty. Which I probably won't. You guys hear that? All the applause and oh my God. You hear that? Let me know in the chat. Let's see. Anybody else in the chat that I'm seeing now? Okay. Sounds good, says Megan Ring. All right. And Arg, I hear her, says Funtime Bats. Hey, either you or your chat audience compatriots wanted this. I take no responsibility. Ebony Williams, hello. All right. Here we go.
I'm so excited.
And you just can't hide it? You're about to lose control and you think you like it?
This is the first time I've seen people since March 2020. Hi.
This is the first time you've seen people since March 2020. Somehow, I doubt that.
Hi, people. I've had a lot of accomplishments, but this is a dream come true.
Wait a second. This took place in August 2021. And this is the first time you've seen people since March of 2020. I know I just, expressed my doubt of that claim. But now I know when this took place, I have even more doubt.
Right now. I know. Yeah. So make some noise for the dress.
Ooh.
And now the back of the dress. Can we get booty cam, please?
Oh, dear Lord. Do I have to mark this as like 18 plus?
Booty cam.
No.
If you follow
there's no booty. Oh, thank God.
On social media, you've probably seen my hiney before. It's no secret.
I have not, honestly. I unfortunately, however, did see pictures of Lizzo in the last 24 hours where she was wearing an outfit that was entirely see-through. I didn't see this by choice. It's one of those things that just kind of popped up on my Twitter timeline, and it was like, oh, okay.
But I used to hate my ass.
Really?
Believe it or not.
Uh-huh.
I have my father's shape and my mother's size, so it's big and long.
Okay.
I used to think that only asses like J-Lo's or Beyonce's could be famous. I never thought that could happen to me.
Well, everybody's got their thing. I mean, have you looked at Pornhub at any particular point in the last 10 years and checked up on the categories that are the most popular in some places? Yeah.
I always felt like my body type wasn't the right one or the desirable one growing up. Because I grew up in an era where having a big ass wasn't mainstream.
Depends on which part of the world you're in and in which neighborhood you're in. But maybe I'm just speaking from rare experience.
I grew up watching movies where women were like, does my ass look fat in this? Like it was a bad thing.
Again, depends on context. Are we just talking about, sexual attraction and desirability on a preference level? Or are we talking about maybe a healthful level?
I felt like the ass odds were against me, but baby, this badonkadonk was going places.
That really doesn't sound good. My ass has been all over the place. I don't know why I'm sort of, I guess I've conditioned myself into expecting at least a half-hearted attempt at something intellectual going on a TED or TEDx talk. Maybe we haven't gotten there yet. We obviously haven't, so.
My ass has been the topic of conversation. My ass has been in magazines. Rihanna gave my ass a standing ovation.
Wow.
Yes, my booty. My least favorite part of my body.
And nothing that is actually an artifact of effort, unless not taking care of your body weight is of effort. I don't know. Great. So something that basically takes you no work to achieve, that is just sort of a natural, literal outgrowth of your makeup. Yay. And so what?
How did this happen?
Let's see. A shift in ideological values of attractiveness and guilt tripping people over not being attracted to shapes and or sizes and or people that they're not, and turning people into villains for not being attracted to what I'm being told is supposed to be the virtuous way of thinking about beauty and so on and so forth. I don't know, maybe something like that.
Twerking.
No.
Through the movement of twerking, I discovered my ass is my greatest asset. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TED Twerk.
Pardon me 1 second. Sorry about that. If your greatest asset is your rear end, why are you known as a singer? I don't know. And truth be told, even after cutting the sound out of this video, I am, unless I've heard one and just didn't know who was singing it, to the best of my knowledge, I have never actually heard a Lizzo song. And not because I make some sort of like weird effort to avoid listening to her music or something. I don't think I've ever heard one before. Not that it matters.
I'm going to take my shoes off. Is that okay with y'all?
Why would you need to do that?
So the first time I saw twerking in person was at a teen club called the Z in Houston, Texas. Hey, shout out Houston. We got some Houstonians here. There I saw a bunch of girls my age shaking their booty to New Orleans bounce. And I was like, how are they doing that?
Shaking your ass. How are they doing that? I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen some pretty artistic, rump thumpers in my day thus far, but all the same, it's not exactly rocket science as far as I know. Some people just have a better, waist, I don't know what you want to call it, movement or something. I mean, I think about belly dancers. When I see all the twerking and stuff, like, oh my God, twerking, everything. I was like, have you ever seen belly dancing? You ever seen what a trained belly dancer can do with her hips and her waist? If you're just paying attention to the lower part of the body, I mean, sure, some people like it more than something else, but it's not that new. Thank you, Flair Fritz. I should hire the contractor that built that stage because that shiz is sturdy. Oh, come now. I'm not gonna. Let us not stoop to that level. Unless we absolutely have to, and we probably will. Thank you, Flair. Okay.
It was incredible to me. Thanks to my Caribbean besties, Peaches and Jeline, and thanks to Master P, whoop, whoop, I found the rhythm. The better I got, the more I fell in love with what I had because, damn, my ass could do magic.
Oh, Lord.
Finally, I could twerk. But twerking did not begin with me.
Oh, really?
Believe it or not.
Oh, so you're culturally appropriated something? Oh, probably not, right?
I know you think I invented twerking. I did.
Yeah, no. Again, belly dancers.
I want you to know where twerking came from.
The Middle East. Africa. Where did everything come from originally, right?
I think everyone should know where everything comes from. You should know where your food and water come from. You should know where your clothes come from.
Am I missing something?
It's important to me to keep the origin story of twerking alive.
I'm sorry for my pause game here, but just with every sentence, I'm just, on the one hand, I'm kind of bewildered by the words that are being spoken. On the other hand, I'm kind of bewildered as to being here listening to this.
So here's some farm to table for that ass.
Oh, God.
So funny. Modern day twerking derived from Black people and Black culture.
Oh, well, there you go. Story's over. There's the history lesson.
It has a direct parallel to West African dances like mapuka.
Uh-huh.
Traditionally, mapuka was a dance for West African women to be used as a celebration of joy.
That is some pretty mild twerking, I gotta say, if that's, yeah.
Religious worship, or a dance to do at a wedding to show you were DTF or DTM. Down to Mary, down to Mary. Get
Oh, God.
your mind out the gutter. Black women carried these dances across the transatlantic slave trade to the ring shout in what became the Black American church, into the hips of Ma Rainey and Bessie Smith when they sang the blues, into the bounce of Josephine Baker's banana dance, from jazz dance to jitterbug, from shake your tail feather to shake your thing to that thing thangin'. Black people carried the origins of this dance through our DNA, through our blood, through our bones.
Then why didn't you know what it was until you went to that club? I'm a little bit confused. Thank you, Mr. Tickletrunk. Here's 5 Canadian for that ass. Thank you, Mr. Tickletrunk. I appreciate it. Okay, so it was in your DNA, in your blood, in your culture, but you just had no idea what it was until you were with your friends at whatever age you were at a club. Thank you, Poker Pierce. This is going to be good. Wait, I don't want to get things mixed up here because more than one person can use the same handle. Is Poker also Poker Pierce, or are you two different people? Because I just reflexively said Poker Pierce because there's a Poker Pierce. So have I got that right or have I got that wrong? Because if I've got it wrong, I don't want to make that mistake again. If I got it right, then you're basically like the Peter, Silak Hades 313. So anyway, inside joke for those of you who've been around long enough. Anyway, moving on.
We made twerking the global cultural phenomenon it has become today.
No, not. What do you mean? What do you mean we? Okay, and I know I'm sticking on this point, but this reminds me of several other TEDx's and TED Talks I've seen in the past. Someone will say something that tells me that they have no idea what they were talking about at a certain point in time, and then they will put themselves within the category of taking credit for a thing that they themselves had to discover. Yeah, you've already lost me. If this was some sort of academic presentation, already lost. I got to go over to the bingo card. I've forgotten we have a bingo card. Let's go over that real quick. Okay, plays victim. No, none of that. Leaves out vital context. I don't know that we got into a point where there's any vital context needed necessarily. Weightless example. Trying very hard to avoid a pun there. Anecdote that probably never happened. I haven't heard anything that was completely unbelievable yet. Benevolent condescension. Maybe the hint of it, but nothing specific yet. Self-vilification or wretchedness. Okay, so as I'm thinking about it, her initial story about being down on herself because of her weight and everything, is that plays victim or self-vilification? Well, it's not self-vilification. Might be plays victim, but she climbed her way out of that in the story so quickly. I'm hesitant to say. We'll wait. Feminism, not specifically yet. Just talking about female dances and wedding ceremonies and things is not feminism make. Childhood or family anecdote. Yes, her family, her mother, her father, her physical resemblances. Privilege, not yet. Sales pitch for product or service. I mean, she is a brand all on her lonesome, but until she brings up a concert tour or something, I don't think that's going to qualify. Microaggressions, unconscious bias, not yet. Patriarchy, not yet. Free space, well, I'll circle that one because we got childhood family anecdote. Wage gap, no. Mind reading assumes motives, not clearly yet. Attempt to coin new buzzword, buzz phrase. No. Word salad. I've understood what she said so far. It's melting my brain. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Not yet. Marginalization. Not yet. Contradicts own point or argument. I don't know what her argument is. Well, actually, she did. It contradicted her own point or argument by citing the we part, but also saying she had no idea what this was until she saw it done. Systemic, institutional. Not yet. A list. Did she put off a list? Oh, maybe she did. White supremacy. No. Make something about race, sex, etc. for no reason. Well, there's been a lot of meaningless sex talk, but I guess you can't avoid that with talking about the booty. And collectivize his own demographic. Yes, we did this. We did. Me did. We did. Okay, so far we have circled childhood or family anecdote, free space, contradicts own point or argument, collectivize his own demographic. There's some maybes in there, but we'll proceed as we go. And reminder for those of you that might be new to this, if you have arguments for squares not yet circled as time goes on, never fear. There will be a portion at the end of the show where I will take arguments for squares to be circled that aren't obviously circled themselves. Here we go.
Now, as a big Black woman who has ass, who can twerk, and who's been doing it her whole life, I kind of think I'm an expert on the subject.
You haven't been doing it your whole life. You didn't tell us at what age you discovered this happening, but you have not been doing it your whole life because you didn't know what was going on when you saw it. So I know I keep sticking on this point, but it's your story.
I want to add to the classical etymology of this dance.
Oh.
Because it matters.
To who?
Black people will not be erased from the creation, the history, and the innovation of twerking.
Who is doing that? Who is doing that? And here's the thing, though. Just because it originated in a place, so what? You know, the truth and the history of that can be written in stone. What matters it to who does it today? Are you going to address that notion?
Thank you.
Thank you for... What are you applauding?
From TikTok trends to songs and humor, we see so much erasure of what Black people have created.
What? How? Give me an example.
So I want to do everything in my power to prevent the erasure of Blackness from twerking.
Okay. Define for me erasure. Not the band, but specifically what you mean. What is being done that is erasing that? And if someone who isn't Black can do it well, what does that mean? They should not do it?
Twerking is a Black American communal collaboration born of Black Southern culture.
Okay, for the sake of argument, I will stipulate to that. And again, I ask, so?
From DJ Jubilee and Cash Money Records in New Orleans, to Lil Jon and the Yin Yang Twins in Atlanta, to Uncle Luke in Miami, twerking was alive and well in nearly every Black club in the South.
Except for the ones... I mean, again, you must have had to go out and learn all of this yourself after discovering that it even existed, right? I mean, you may be an authority now, but don't talk like somehow this was inherent knowledge you possess simply at the state of birth.
But it would take years after these songs were released for twerking to finally become mainstream. I got a test for y'all.
Is that a good thing? I mean, I'm not trying to be like a Puritan here or anything, but I mean, just sort of on a general level. Is it a good thing that it's mainstream? Is it a positive, a net positive? I don't know.
Oh, no, no. Oh, no, no.
Those are the exact same sentiments coming out of my brain right now, but with a completely different inflection.
You know that one? Hold on. Y'all ain't see it. Oh, no, no. Oh, no, no.
TED Talk, everyone. TED Talk. Technology, entertainment, design.
The uh-oh dance. Beyonce called it that because she was trying to warn us. Because of Destiny's Child, bootylicious is in the dictionary.
Is that a net positive? Seriously.
And because of Beyonce's 2003 music video for her single Crazy in Love, the world was introduced to the uh-oh dance.
Truth be told, this might be my whiteness showing. This is the first time I've ever heard of the uh-oh dance. But then, admittedly, I don't listen to Beyonce and music videos. I mean, if only MTV would show us.
That was the first time I'd ever seen a pop star do something like that, and I wanted to be just like her.
That was the first time you'd ever seen a pop star shake her rump. Maybe God, I grew up in the 80s for the most part. And, you know, when my babysitter, who was really cool, would let us watch MTV when we weren't supposed to, I seem to recall quite a lot of women shaking their rear ends in music videos. But I guess they weren't doing it to the right angle or something. Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Look at what she's wearing. The country she's in and Ted was created by Harry Marks and Richard Werman. She's soaking in and, quote, appropriating whiteness, unquote. Yeah, I've always found it interesting when people start talking about cultural appropriation or the erasure of culture or something, as though the person who invented a thing, short of you somehow destroying every record that shows that that person invented a thing, could erase its origins. Yeah, Ted was created by a couple of old white guys. Not that that matters, because it doesn't. It's a stage. It's a format. It is a, opportunity to express yourself, whoever you are, however you look. So, again, I would love for her to explain what she is fearful of in regards to erasure.
Beyonce gave me permission to be myself.
No, you took the initiative to be yourself. Give yourself some credit, please.
To be bootylicious. Because she could shake ass and still be seen as classy in the eyes of America.
In the eyes, I don't know who sees Beyonce as what, but I guess you just know what everybody. Oh yeah, mind reading assumes motives. Circling that one on the board. And I don't just for clarification, I don't have anything against Beyonce. The couple of songs that I can think of off the top of my head, I like fine, but it's not the center of my universe in any way, shape, or form. Thank you again, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Cultural appropriation is actually cultural mixing. Yeah, that's the thing. Afraid of cultures actually mixing. Don't get me wrong. If someone wants to go on a crusade to physically destroy all mention of some culture or some person or whatever else, yeah, no. But if Eminem can rap, that suddenly doesn't make it so that rap didn't originate with black people or something. It just, that logic makes no sense. So I'm waiting for her to tell me what she is so fearful of in regards to the erasure of the origins of twerking.
And that was hard to do.
Uh-huh.
When I moved from Houston to Minneapolis in the early 2010s, I hadn't seen twerking in a while until Big Frida's tour came to town.
Okay.
Now, Big Frida performs bounce music with the voice of a preacher and the body of a bad bitch.
Okay.
If you can imagine, it's incredible.
Well, conceivably, I don't have to imagine it. I can just look her up, but okay.
Big Frida has a moment in her shows where she will call people on stage to twerk. And she chose me from the audience to battle another person. And I remember being like, oh my God, I miss this so much. When I was up there, I thought to myself, not only am I shaking ass, but I'm winning. And besides Big Frida, I'm the best twerker in the building.
I admire your self-confidence, I suppose. Short of it being arrogance, but hey, whatever works for you. Thank you, Sora Luna. The difference, video hoes versus female artists. The dancing might be the same, but only the latter is empowering. Yeah, I mean, if you're just like in a lot of 90s rap videos, they're just like background, props essentially for a music video. But yeah, I mean, I would think, obviously I'm wrong here, but I would think that Lizzo would want to showcase her voice, her singing voice, because that's something that, actually requires skill and talent, and practice and so on. And okay, yeah, sure, dancing requires practice and everything else, but what little I know about Lizzo, I don't think twerking. I think she's a singer, a pop singer. So I don't know. It's really difficult for me. I mean, I'm not going to criticize somebody for doing something that they love or doing something that they enjoy or doing something that other people enjoy. I mean, if it doesn't hurt anybody, whatever. But the thing I'm waiting for, as you may have noticed, is the details. What is she presenting? What is her main argument or the problem that she's seeking to solve? She's already articulated it. She is afraid that the origins of twerking are going to be erased. I'm waiting for her to explain that, because just saying, I like to twerk, and I twerk, and also I like to twerk, it's nothing. It's like repeating yourself, which it is.
And just like that, I was reintroduced to twerking. When I started to perform my solo music, I began incorporating twerking into my performances, and people would go crazy. I performed for mainly indie audiences, so they didn't know what the fuck was happening, and I liked it that way.
You said the F word in a TED Talk. I don't know how common that is, honestly.
Twerking made me feel empowered.
Okay.
It was my secret language, my sauce.
Great.
Little did I know that a couple years later, Miley Cyrus would perform what seemed like the twerk her around the world. Y'all.
Oh, we are now getting into the meat of it then? Okay.
Miley Cyrus would perform what seemed like the twerk her around the world. Y'all remember that?
So?
In 2013, within a month of each other, I released my debut project, Lizzo Bangers, and Miley Cyrus released her project, Bangers. That same year, Miley released a single, We Can't Stop, and she was twerking in the video.
Oh my God. And what is this, professional jealousy or something? Are you saying she stole from you? Like Amy Schumer and Jokes or something? Like what? So what's the accusation here?
I remember being like, this is crazy. Hannah Montana twerking all over the place.
Yeah, a celebrity doing something that gets her attention. Imagine that.
A couple months later, she performed with Robin Thicke on the VMAs, and that night, seemingly overnight, twerking went mainstream. The media described twerking as, I quote, disturbing and disgusting.
The media. Just all of it at once. One homogenistic entity. The media. And you quote. Okay.
Critics blasted twerking as something that was exploiting and over-sexualizing young women.
Isn't it? Depending on who's doing it and in what way, there might be an argument there.
Once mainstream, twerking was misunderstood and taken out of context.
Shaking your rump in order to attract a mate, as you already said yourself, DTF. You said that. You can't describe this act as inherently sexual and then say that somehow the media would be incorrect in categorizing this action as inherently sexual. What?
It was bittersweet. For one, I wish that a Black woman could have popularized twerking in the mainstream.
Okay, so this is racial jealousy. Surprise, surprise.
But on the other end, twerking going mainstream played a role in the rise of my profile and my career.
So you have a lot to thank Hannah Montana for then?
Listen.
You sound so regretful, like, I mean, I guess I got famous, but man, I wish it wasn't a white girl that did it first. Or really?
Everything that Black people create, from fashion to music to the way we talk, is co-opted, appropriated, and taken by pop culture.
You're standing on a TED stage, which we already discussed the origins of that. You make use of the internet. You can look up the origins of that. I could go on, but I don't think I really need to. Thank you, Chicago Mike. Cultural appropriation, anyone? Yep, we talked about it earlier, and here we are. Here we are. Heaven forfend that someone who likes a thing starts doing that thing, even if they didn't invent that thing. You know, when you walked into that club and saw people doing things that you'd never seen before, and you didn't understand what it was, and then you learned that you could use your body and turn it into an asset. You didn't invent it. You weren't part of we, simply on the basis of the mystic chords of your melanin count. But okay. Be bitter, I guess, about your rampaging success. What? Ay.
For this reason, optimism can be an illusion to the experience of Black people in America.
Optimism can be an illusion. If someone's feeling optimistic, they're lying to themselves? If they're Black? What?
In this TED Talk, I'm not trying to gatekeep.
Horse hockey!
But I'm definitely trying to let you know who built the damn gate.
Not you. I take it back. You know, all that self-confidence stuff I was talking about, arrogance. Outright and simple arrogance.
The fact that I can make a stake in the reclamation of Black things and Black culture makes me very optimistic.
For racial supremacy?
To be on stage at the premier conference for the experts in their field, talking about twerking.
Yeah, tell me about it, right? I mean, oh, how the mighty have fallen at TED.
And stating my facts makes me optimistic.
Well, how do you know that's not an illusion? Given your skin color. As you just told us. Like 10 seconds ago. Any thoughts?
The best thing I can do is be loud and take ownership.
Ownership of a thing you yourself didn't invent? There's a phrase for that. If you're going to be a nitpicker about it, you know, cultural appropriation.
Because for me, twerking is a pearl of optimism.
If it originated in African culture, okay, I don't know Lizzo's familial origins, but if we're going to take this to its logical conclusion, the question would have to be, if she's going to count herself amongst the we who invented twerking, then presumably she would have to have a direct and living connection to the African culture where it originated from. Now, I don't know her backstory. She hasn't brought it up if there was any relevance to it. But as she said herself, she had no idea this existed until she saw it being done in a club with her friends way back at some point in the past. So who's appropriating what again?
It's a form of self-expression,
yes.
Freedom,
yes,
confidence.
Maybe.
Twerking is not just something I do to music. It's
you're right. You don't have to have music. So what? Do you have to have a particular skin color?
Extremely useful. It manifests in my life in ways that I need more joy. In the mornings, twerking leads me to stretching and taking care of my body. I bend over and I isolate my cheeks. I'm in downward dog.
Oh, Lord.
Namaste. Sometimes I put on a song and I shake ass and immediately I'm in love with myself. And not just self-love. I mean like, Okay, Lizzo, what's your number?
So you masturbate after twerking then?
I would do me, but
yeah, there's a word for that. It's called narcissism.
It's not just sexual.
It's not. Tell me again about DTF. Tell me about marriage and or mating rituals and so on, as you alluded to at the beginning of this talk. It's not just about sex. You're right. It's not just about sex, but you yourself tied it to sexual attraction and sexual expression. So it's hard to escape the connotation, regardless, isn't it? As you just tell us that you'd do you.
It's not.
I totally believe you. As you laugh about it. So genuine, so honest. Thank you, Frosted Glass. Did she just appropriate yoga? Know your place. Good point. Excellent point. Hey.
Twerking is a deep, soulful, spiritual practice. It's
not necessarily. It's whatever it is to the individual doing it. It might be for you, and that's fine. But you don't get to define other people's experiences for them. I hate to tell you. Thank you again, Chicago Mike. I culture appropriate my dancing from Elaine Bennis. Or Benny's. Elaine. Wait, is that the character from Seinfeld, or am I... That's what came to my mind. If that's a completely different person, then I apologize, because I only watched Seinfeld like once or twice in my life. So if that's actually her name. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. This is not the sexualization you're looking for. Again, eye of the beholder. If that's all you're talking about, hey, I can't argue with that. But that's not what she's talking about. Oh boy, yes, from Seinfeld. Okay, just want to make sure, because I only watched that show once in a blue moon.
It's hip opening.
Uh-huh.
It's empowering.
Okay.
When performed as the mapuka, it's said to connect you to God.
Yeah, but didn't you also say it had something to do with attracting a mate? DTF? I mean, I suppose depending on the power of the orgasm, it could be very divine experience. But thank you, Chicago Mike, again. Seinfeld reference. Gotcha. Okay. And I'll assume someone else here knows what kind of dancing Elaine did that he was referring to, because I don't. And watches everybody tweets me clips from Seinfeld now to educate me. I appreciate it.
It's sacred.
Uh-huh.
And now we're practicing that on mainstream stages.
So it's not sacred.
We're practicing that at home.
No, people are practicing twerking, not mambuka. It's a different connotation, a different thing. The video you yourself showed us is not the twerking of the modern Western world, nor is it even similar to what you were doing on the stage a few minutes ago. So it's not sacred. It's not what you say it is. It has changed. It has evolved. And you don't get to dictate who gets to do it.
And it's contributing to the liberation of women and people around the world.
Unless they're the wrong-looking people that you show bitterness for, right? I think Chicago Mike again, bad dancing. I'll assume so, because every character in Seinfeld was a terrible person in one way, shape, or form. So I can only assume their artistic endeavors were as well.
Twerking is good for humanity.
Unless you're the wrong skin color doing it, right?
40 years ago, when Black and brown people in New York invented breakdancing, it was villainized. Mainstream media weaponized breakdancing by connecting it to gang activity and violence. As an art form and subculture, it wasn't taken seriously.
So things changed, is what you're saying. Well, that's something to be glad for.
Fast forward to today, breakdancing is now an Olympic sport.
Yeah, I'm still not quite sold on that concept, but hey, who am I to talk? I'm no athlete.
What will be the future of twerking?
I don't know. Are you looking for it to become an Olympic sport?
Russian ballet dancers are twerking.
So?
Have you seen it? They be like this.
I've seen some Russian and Ukrainian twerkers, and that's not what they're doing. But whatever.
Y'all think I'm playing? They out there like do.
Yeah, ballet dancers bouncing up and down on their tiptoes and their. Imagine that. Russian ballet dancers up and down on their tiptoes. You think I'm playing? I don't think you're playing. I think that's something that Russian ballet dancers could do. I think that's something any ballet dancer to do. Heck, I think it's something you could do if you did ballet, because you see, the art form is not inherently restricted to one type of person now, is it?
Can we clear Tchaikovsky?
What?
Will we see twerking as an Olympic sport one day?
I can only guess.
And will Black people still be part of it?
You're being the least subtle with your agenda here.
I'm proud to be a twerk pioneer.
You aren't. You aren't. You've told us that you're not. You saw it in somebody else's performance. Your career was bolstered by somebody else's performance. And the act, as a meaningful cultural or symbolic gesture, existed long before you were born in a different country, in a completely different culture. So between Beyonce and everybody else before you, Miley Cyrus and so on, I don't know what to tell you. Or maybe my definition of a pioneer is just completely off base. I don't know.
I'm grateful for the asses that came before me.
Oh!
All hail Beyonce.
So you're standing on the asses of giants then, is what you're saying.
Nicki Minaj. From Betty Boop to Buffy the Body.
Whoa, Betty Boop. Betty Boop. I must have missed the part where Betty Boop was twerking. I mean, there's probably a cartoon out there, but I'm surprised by that reference. I wish you'd explain.
When I shake this ass, I do it for the culture.
Horse hockey. You do it for the attention. You do it for the money. Come on. You do it for the culture. Whose culture? Miley Cyrus's culture?
From Betty Boop to Buffy the Body. When I shake this ass, I do it for the culture, not the vulture.
The culture, not the vulture? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Maybe I just have the wrong culture.
For me, twerking ain't a trend. My body is not a trend.
Actually, your body is a trend, or the trend of promoting, health at any size, etc., is a trend. What are you talking about? You just told us at the beginning of this that I don't know how many times I have to say that. Like every complaint or argument she's making in the latter half of her presentation, she already disproved in the first half of her presentation. Thank you, Frosted Glass. Can this twerk pioneer die of dysentery? I got that reference. But just for clarification, I don't wish her any ill, especially dysentery. But man, Johnny Hellcat only became famous because of a basketball game. I'll have to take your word. I know next to nothing about Lizzo's career or what put her into the spotlight and so on. All I know is that she's a singer and everything that I'm learning here. That's it.
I twerk for the strippers, for the video vixens, for the church ladies who shout, for the sex workers.
You twerk for the sex workers, the church ladies, the video vixens, and the strippers. Okay, let me ask. Of what benefit is your booty shaking doing a church lady or a stripper or a video vixen who has their own career, who has their own merits, who's doing their own thing? And does it matter to you whether or not any of the people you've just mentioned in aggregate have a particular skin color? If anybody profits off of your actions that doesn't look right, are you going to have a problem with that? I have to ask because you made it a problem.
I twerk because Black women are undeniable.
In what sense?
I twerk for my ancestors, for sexual liberation, for my bitches. Hey, girl.
Oh, yeah, but twerking doesn't do anything to sexualize young girls, guys. The media was completely wrong about that, but we're going to keep talking about the sexual connotations of it. But it's totally wholesome, guys, just so you know.
Because I can.
Great. Good for you. I have no problem with you doing what you want to do because you can and because you enjoy it and because it doesn't harm anybody. Great. That's my attitude. Why is it not yours?
Because I know I look good.
Well, again, matter of opinion, but okay, self-confidence, not going to knock it.
I twerk because it's unique to the Black experience.
It's not. It's not. It is a thing that people can do. I mean, the cultural origins of moving your rump around for getting attention for a mate or something may have cultural significance in places, but it has changed. The context has changed. The performances have changed by the very footage you showed us. Namaste.
It's unique to my culture and it means something real to me.
Twerking, tell me where that term comes from. Is that unique to your culture? And if it is unique to your culture, why were you surprised to see it when you were growing up? Why is Miley Cyrus allowed to do it? It is not unique to your culture. It has diversified.
I twerk because I'm talented.
If you say so.
Because I'm sexual, but not to be sexualized.
What? What is that? What the fuck is that?
You have done nothing for the last 11 minutes but to aggrandize your sexuality, your body, your attractiveness. I do me, but nobody's allowed to sexualize me. There's not a portion of your fan base that is attracted to you sexually, and there's absolutely no way that you would make or take any advantage of that, would you? You know, yeah, this is not your traditional TED Talk. And this isn't even by brand a TEDx talk, but man, it has all of the same mechanisms, doesn't it? Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. 404 scribe not found. Yeah, no, yeah, it's sexual, but don't sexualize me. Right. I totally believe you. What are you clapping for? Have you been listening to what she is saying? Oh, for crying out loud.
I twerk to own my power, to reclaim my Blackness, my culture.
So again, no one outside of quote unquote your culture, which I can only assume is defined by skin color, because you haven't been talking about African culture or a specific culture from a specific tribe or nation. No, you're talking about Black culture. Okay, so culture is defined by skin color. So should anybody outside of your culture be twerking? Because the message I'm getting here is no. And I would love to hear how you would solve for that problem.
I twerk for fat Black women because being fat and Black is a beautiful thing.
But don't sexualize it.
I twerk because it's as natural to me as breathing. Black women invented twerking, and twerking is part of the revolution.
The revolution. To what end is this revolution? Revolving to what?
We've been doing it. We're going to keep on doing it because we have and always will be the blueprint.
Wow. Wowie, wow, wow. Right, dog, cat, fox? Wowie, wow, wow. You are the blueprint. Whoa. Whoa. I don't think I have a square for like massive self-aggrandization, do I? Good Lord. Yeah, everybody in the audience who doesn't look like me, yeah, you are a lesser version of me. Yay. Yeah, anybody in the audience who doesn't look like me, yeah, you're just a cheap imitation of me. Yay. Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk, for the how's it going, Dog Cat Fox? Oh, I don't know. How's it going, Dog Cat Fox?
Wowie, wow, wow.
That is exactly the mood that Dog Cat Fox is in listening to this. So thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk.
We twerk to remind ourselves we here and we ain't going nowhere. So in a case of optimism, I want everyone to stand up and shake some ass with me.
Is that optimism an illusion, depending on what your skin color is? I remember hearing that somewhere.
Are y'all ready? Come on, y'all. I've been waiting for this one. I'm gonna show you how to do it.
And that's where the sound cuts out because one of her songs starts playing. And I'm not risking getting this thing a copyright strike so that Lizzo can make money off of this. So yes, this is not the entire ending of the video. This goes on for a minute or so, and then we get a closing thought or something. And now you get to watch a bunch of very awkward people looking very awkward. Okay, I think my favorite so far is this lady right here. This lady right here is probably my favorite so far. She's trying, you know, she wants to be brave and show off a little bit or just participate. Yeah. Okay. Yay. Yay.
This is a dream come true.
It's a dream come true to lead a bunch of people who don't look the correct way in order to do the thing that you say is being culturally erased. You just led a crowd of people, the majority of which look nothing like you, in an activity that you say is unique to your culture. So you are disseminating an act to people who do not belong in taking part in that act, as you have told us for the last 13 some odd minutes. Okay. There's no contradictory or hypocrisy going on here. No, just okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, at the risk that any of those beats are going to get me in trouble, I'm just going to stop it here because I don't think she does anything but stand and bask in the applause for another 30 seconds. Okay, well, there you go, guys. There was the vaunted Lizzo presentation. So, that being the case, let us move now to the bingo card and see where we currently fall. All right, let me see. Do I need to shrink this a little bit? No, that looks all right. I think we can see everything. Okay. So currently we have circled child or family anecdote, free space, mind reading assumes motives, contradicts own point or argument, collectivizes own demographic. Let's go through it one time, and then I will go to you guys if you have any arguments for squares to be circled. Plays victim. Yep. Miley Cyrus totally stole my thunder. Yep. You could just hear the bitterness between every word. Leaves out vital context. Vital context. I mean, what was I don't know. My brain is a little bit off right now. Did she ever make an argument or something where she left out vital context? I don't know. I'm sure she did. I'm blanking right now. So if somebody has a better argument than me not having one at all, by all means, hold on to it just for a minute. Weightless example. Well, it's kind of a reverse in the sense that her example of learning about twerking before she knew about twerking, but then saying that it was something that it was as natural as breathing. Like every time she said, this is inherent to my culture, but I had no idea it existed until I was a teenager or something. It doesn't track. I mean, aside from it just being a contradiction, it's just completely, there's no argument there. There's no argument. If she had been taught this since she was a baby or something, and, she was dancing with her mom or whatever, or her bigger sister or something taught her this, then maybe that would work. But that wasn't the case. So, in fact, yeah, everything after her little story becomes a weightless example to whatever her argument is. That's how I see it. Anecdote that probably never happened. None of these stories that she told sounded like something that was completely out of bounds, or like it was too perfect an argument or something. And there weren't that many. I mean, she talked about her, where she got her looks from, where she first saw twerking, being on stage, Miley Cyrus and her career. Like I can believe all that happened, and none of it really, it didn't sound like too perfect for her argument or something. Benevolent condescension. Telling everybody in the room that only certain people should do this, otherwise you're erasing our culture, and then leading everybody into it. And again, that's a contradiction, but the benevolent condescension is like, we have to preserve this. Also, the blueprint thing. Good Lord. Yeah. So, I'm going to do benevolent condescension there. Self-vilification or wretchedness. I'm going to say no, because even though she talked about being somewhat uncomfortable with her body growing up or something, or not sure about it and so on, it was such a passing thing, and it was not the main theme. She was not resting her argument on a sense of wretchedness, or that she herself was part of the problem or something. So that, I don't think that counts. Feminism. Okay, she talked a lot about empowering women. Yeah, I mean, just even in the lightest version of the word, even if we don't go into like the different ideologies and brands thereof, that is inherently feminism. Not inherently bad, but privilege. She never said the word. There were allusions to the concept with the Miley Cyrus deal, but I don't know if they were enough to count for the square. If you guys have a good argument, then let me know. Sales pitch for product or service. Okay, when you have a celebrity on stage and they're talking about their career, and then they play their music, and then they show off their greatest asset, is it not inherently a sales pitch for a product or a service, depending on how you look at it, right? So I think that's just unavoidable. And consequently...
Bingo.
What? Of course!
We have our first bingo. There we go. All right, let's move on. Microaggressions, unconscious bias. She never said the words or the terms. Did she say anything? I mean, she talked a lot about being uncertain of her body and everything at some points, and that's a tough one. I can't. I don't know if there was enough in aggregate there to circle that one, so I might need you guys' help. Patriarchy. She never talked about guys all that much, or men controlling women's bodies or something like that. So I'm a little hesitant to circle that one. Wage gap. She didn't talk about pay or pay disparity or economic disparities, so I can't really circle that one. Attempt to coin new buzzword, buzz phrase. I heard nothing new in this, and she didn't like say something I like to call or whatever, because obviously she didn't invent twerking, so that doesn't count. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. She never used the terms. And if anything else, she was promoting divisiveness by categorizing who was or was not legitimate to take part in the activity on multiple occasions. And then, of course, lead the crowd in dancing. Marginalize, marginalization. I think I could be safe in saying that, when she went through her litany of, speaking of litany, I'll go to a list here in a second, of I twerk for the et cetera, for like usually when someone says something like that, they're talking about, I do this for the little people, the downtrodden, or the marginalized, marginalization, and so on. So I'm going to circle that one because that was at least a part of the message, if not literally the message. Moving on from that, systemic, institutional. She talked about the media writ large, and that is an institution, but she talked about society. I mean, I guess she talked about like society is acceptable of it, mainstream media, the mainstream system. I mean, it's kind of a gray area with the use of the words there, but for the sake of argument, and that I feel fairly safe that this isn't going to be like a key bingo square, I'll circle that one because it alluded to systems and institutions and so on. A list, yes, she listed off all the people that she was twerking for, amongst other things that I'm sure she mentioned over the course of the presentation. So we got that one. White supremacy. She never said the words, and I'm hesitant to circle it. However, I will circle this one. Make something about race, sex, etc. for no reason. Now, as you have heard me say several times before, the key element to that is for no reason. And the reason that I'm going to circle it is because she completely threw away any argument for having said it in the first place, for having brought up race and cultural exclusivity and all that, and then to lead the audience, the majority of which looked nothing like her, means that she brought it up for no reason. All of her moralizing, all of her, oh, this is a part of my culture, etc., apparently meant nothing. And so by nullifying her complaint by her own actions and choices, I'm circling that one as for no reason. That's my justification. If you think I'm wrong on that, by all means, let me know. All right, well, that's the card as I have it. If you have, what did I just do? What did I just do? Oh my God!
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Right?
Yeah!
I didn't even notice. Until I looked. Oh my God, we have a double bingo. That's like finding $5 in your pocket you forgot was there. Oh my gosh. Well, there you go. 2 bingos. All right. All that being said, if you guys have arguments for squares yet to be circled, put them in the chat now. Be sure to tag me in it so I can see it more clearly than everything else. And I will take your suggestions or arguments for the next few minutes. And then we will wrap things up. I only see the possibility of another bingo if someone can give me a really good argument for white supremacy. A really good argument. It's going to have to be a good one. And the bar is going to be higher because it is the keystone for a bingo. So let's see. So scrolling up just a little bit. Yeah, check your logic says circle the whole card. I will do that at the end of the show. I do that at the end of the show. Just hold on. We got to see how the rest of the card hashes out first. Hold on. Let's see. Luke Skywalker 2. Also for the DEI square, she led the audience in twerking. Isn't that inclusive? I'm not going to stretch it that far. No, it's the whole leading people in. But that wasn't really part of the presentation. So I think that might be a bridge too far. Bridget. Anecdote that probably never happened for the clubs. Twerking was popular in the 80s with Sir Mix-a-Lots. I like big butts and I cannot lie. Well, here's the thing. She never told us how old she was when she saw it. She just said when she was younger at some club or something. So, but you're right. I mean, the whole booty shaking thing was not. I mean, it definitely got a name and became just a staple of the landscape in the last few years. That's for sure. But it didn't originate just out of the blue because Lizzo noticed it or something. Again, since we don't know when she first saw it, she never gave an age for when she saw it. And I don't know how old Lizzo is. So if she saw this in the 80s, maybe it was to Sir Mix-a-Lot. I couldn't say. So I don't know if I can safely do that one. Let's see. Spudgun, Scribelight, there was the implication that Miley kind of stole it, but a black girl couldn't get away with it. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if that's enough to qualify. Implication, like I say, it has to be. There has to be if she doesn't actually say the words or use an example directly to the square, there has to be enough of an aggregate over the course of the presentation that it's basically undeniable. And yes, there was that implication, but is that enough? I'm on the fence on that. Well, I'm not so much on the fence. I'm leaning to one side. Leaves out vital context. I already circled leaves out vital context. So there you go. Left out any dances involving moving her butt that didn't come from Africa. She showed the video or the footage of the actual dance. And I mean, when I think of twerking, I don't think of what was on that video. That was like nudging your butt cheeks a little bit. So I don't even know if it could be called twerk. And in fact, it's not called twerking. It was that word I dare not try to pronounce because I'll probably screw it up. Completely different thing, completely different context. So Peter Silak 8313, she talked about whites trying to appropriate twerking. Does that count as white supremacy? Oh, and erasure and everything. Oh yeah, I just suddenly remembered the erasure part. Spudgun, she's 33. Okay, so that would put her in the 90s, wouldn't it? The 1990s, I mean. Yeah. Okay. But here's the only thing that I'd say in counter to the Sir Mix-a-Lot thing. If that was the first time she saw it, well, that was the first time she saw it. I'm not going to call her a liar on that. I don't know that there's an anecdote that never happened. And if she was growing up in the 90s, then, Baby Got Back might not exactly have been in the mainstream at that time. So I'm a little hesitant necessarily. Like, when did Baby Got Back come out? Wasn't that in the 90s? I thought was that in the 80s? I don't know. Either way, so I don't think there's enough there for me to say that anecdote never happened, that she went to a club and saw twerking for the first time. There's not much there to tell me that she's lying or that it's too convenient or something. And like I said several times over the course of the presentation, it actually damaged her own argument. So it's not an anecdote crafted for perfection, if you get my meaning. Let's see. Bridget, white supremacy. They took our fashion, our music, our dancing, etc. She's saying that things. Okay. Kiever Dam, Baby Back Got Back was out in 91. Okay. I thought it was at least the early 90s because I might be old, but my memory's not that bad. Okay. Oh. Anyways, attempt to coin a new buzz phrase, TED Twerk. I mean, you're not wrong. And since it's not a bingo potential square, just for fun, sure. Given the specialness of this presentation, sure. Okay, white supremacy, cultural appropriation, erasure of Black culture and origins, and so on and so forth. Does that constitute white supremacy? All right. This is a bingo potential square. If we get this, that'll be the third bingo, and we'll probably be closing out the show. So, chat, I'm going to leave this up to you. It's not a bad argument, but she never did say the phrase. So, in aggregate, do you think that white supremacy was enough of a theme in the presentation to justify the square? If you think so, then put a 1 in the chat. If you think not, put a 2 in the chat. Don't double vote. And be honest, be as brutally pragmatic about it as you can, not just to get the bingo. The bingo card is sacred, well, except for the buzzword, buzz phrase thing, which, you know, occasional gimmies all right. All right, we got a 1, 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 we got a 1. Do I hear a 2? Do I hear a 2? I got 2 2s. 2 2s. 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 2s. 1 1 2. There's at least 58 of you guys watching, so I should be seeing a lot more in there, but unless you're not near your keyboard, you could be watching on TV or something. 2. Spud Gun 2. I think she was close, but misses the mark. Zach Osborne, she did all but say the phrase. Well, let's see. I'm going to insulted 25. 3 doesn't count, or 3 is just your voting in absentia kind of thing. 1. Okay. Well, I mean, if it was any mystery, it isn't anymore. There were more 1s popping up than there were 2s. I could see both sides of the argument, but I think in the aggregate, it was pretty clear what the implication was, even if the phrase was never said. And consequently...
Oh, won't somebody please?
Bingo. B-I-N-G-O.
Okay!
Right?
We have our third bingo, a triple bingo. We haven't had one of those in a while. And because I don't want to leave anything undone that should be done. And I was actually kind of hoping that I wouldn't have to do this, all things considered. But there you go. The Whole Circle WTF TED Talk. Yeah. Did we learn anything? Well, I learned more about Lizzo's career and I guess dancing origins than I ever thought I'd know. But beyond that, truth be told, this was about, as you take away all of the, talking about twerking itself and all that, stripped down, this was your boilerplate cultural appropriation complaint. People who looked like me made this thing. Therefore, people that don't look like me doing or making use of this thing is wrong. And I'm going to stand as a representative and example of the right way to do it. And everybody else is just a pretender because I'm the blueprint, etc. That I've been hearing the same argument, the same logic for, well, at least in energetic terms for the last 5 years. So there you are, everyone. We have our triple bingo. We have our TED Talk with Lizzo. Thank you, Poker. Is there a burn the bingo animation by chance? No, there is not. Animation. Animation? Me? I'm not quite that talented. There's a if we fill up the whole card, I have a special thing for that, but there's no animation to it. But either way, everyone, that's it for that one. Hopefully next week I'll find something that's at least passingly more academic or argumentative, then twerking is the shiznit, yo. But who knows? If you'd like to hear more from me, I'll be doing my Sunday stream this coming Sunday, if you can believe it, at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on this channel. And this week, I'll be, by request, looking at a video of Ibram X. Kendi reading portions, or the whole thing, I don't know which, of his book, Anti-Racist Baby. So we'll learn how a baby can be anti-racist. If you liked this kind of content, let me know in the comments below and share with other people that you think might like this kind of thing. I have to like remind myself to do the whole like self-promotional thing because I never remember to do it except for like the shows and stuff. Should I start adding that to the end of my videos? Probably not. But regardless, everyone, thank you so much for joining me. You guys are seriously the greatest audience in the world. Thank you for bearing with me after last week's failure to launch on this very show, but technical difficulties are what they are. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things. Even though everyone here is so well behaved, you have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated, thank you so much for your generosity. I really do appreciate it. Please, if you look in the chat right now, you have to scroll up just a little bit. There is a link Keyword M has just put in the chat to a GoFundMe for our friend Zalbla, audience member and longtime promoter of my show and several others. If you'll take a look at that, and if you have a couple of bucks to spare, please think about tossing them her way. She needs a little help, and you guys are always very helpful, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Poker, again. Scribe is the hero we need, not who we deserve. Well, that's very kind of you. I will attempt to accept that compliment, as I'm so terrible at it. Everyone, thank you again for joining me. Hope you had a good time. Please be safe and well. If you are not well, please get well soon. And I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.